Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass.
Thanks for that music, that kind of romantic.
Yeah,
you know.
it is.
Yeah.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, I will.
Still talking debate, and also talk a little bit about Hillary's campaign. And to help us do that, we're now joined by our friend Reid Epstein. He's the lead writer for the Wall Street Journal's Washington Wire, still in Iowa. And he joins us now. Reid, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Morning, guys.
So before we get to last night's debate, boy, things are not going well for Hillary. She can't shake the FBI. She can't shake Bernie. No one's showing up for Chelsea's SoulCycle fundraiser. Bernie's drawn crowds 3 times the size of Bill. Do we have a bit of a political death spiral going on over in Clinton Inc.?
You know, one of the strange things about this cycle is that nobody really knows anything.
Right.
If all the recent polling shows it a neck-and-neck race between Hillary and Bernie here in Iowa, and the thing that we don't know, and we're not really going to know until Monday night, is whether her organization, which by all accounts is much stronger and more developed than the Sanders organization, is enough to overcome the significant gap in enthusiasm for Sanders as opposed to her.
Well, the Clintons relied on Chicago years ago when Bill was running. They relied on people from Chicago to be shipped out. I mean, ward bosses and buses were sending people out to provide logistical and troop support. You see any of that?
You know, I've actually been mostly embedded in Republican events. I haven't seen Hillary in person here, and so there's people coming from all over the country. I know that I have some family downstate that the Hillary people were recruiting in Peoria to try to get people to come out to knock on doors in the eastern part of Iowa.
That's interesting.
You know, so you see that, but you see that with all the candidates. Ted Cruz has a whole hotel here in Des Moines that they've brought people up from Texas that are parked here to help the campaign out in the last week.
How much? I mean, I know you said you're mostly embedded with Republicans, but do you hear scuttlebutt about the prospect of the FBI at minimum referring charges against Hillary to justice, and how the Hillary campaign is going to deal with that, how they're game planning it at this juncture?
I don't think anybody serious thinks that's going to happen.
Really?
Yes.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of serious people who do think it's going to happen.
No, no serious person thinks that's going to happen. It's part of the real sort of hopes in the right that that's going to happen. But no person who actually knows what's going on thinks that's going to happen. That's sort of part of the fever dream of the right at this point.
Well, you have. I
would like to put a bunch of GOP volunteers around Hillary and just shout or say the word "Comey."
Well, but I mean, just to stick on this for a second. I mean, you do have, admittedly a Reagan appointee, but a former U.S. attorney who suggested he thinks it's going to happen. You've had a lot of op-eds from like former Attorney General Michael Mukasey, who said it should happen. I mean, this is not silliness to suggest that she should be referred to charges, or she might be. I'm
just telling you that people who actually know what's going on don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
People who like to speculate on Fox News wish it would happen. But when you know, people who are, even Marco Rubio has been asked about that a few times here in Iowa, and he has told people that it's not going to happen. And they should stop hoping for it.
Speaking of Marco Rubio, he got in a kind of a bit of a bad place in last night's debate, where it seemed like Jeb actually got the better of him on the whole question of immigration policy and specifically amnesty. He seemed to be starting to bubble up a little bit, make a move in Iowa. You think last night's performance is going to help or hurt?
I know the immigration question was really rough for everybody. The montage they played for Rubio of sort of showing his sort of all over the map positions on immigration. Jeb Bush, of course, has also been all over the map on immigration. And they had the footage of Ted Cruz from 2013 sort of making the case for passing an immigration package that included a path to legalization, if not citizenship, for undocumented immigrants. It was rough for all. I mean, Jeff is much more of a non-entity at this point, particularly in Iowa. But for Rubio and Cruz, that was a real tough 10 minutes or so for those guys to have to stand there and watch the evolution of their position on immigration over the years.
And what's the sense on the ground about Trump skipping the debate? Help, hurt, no difference?
You know, the thinking is that it would not be helpful, but what has Trump done in the last 8 months that everybody thought was crazy that hasn't actually worked out in the end?
Mm-hmm.
Everything he's done has worked, and so the sort of conventional wisdom that Trump skipping the debate and doing his own thing is insane is the sort of collective wisdom, but let's wait to see the evidence that it doesn't work before writing it off as a mistake.
All right, we couldn't get Joni Ernst to make a prediction, but we're going to try you. Who do you think wins Monday night?
You know, at the moment, all the polls say Trump, and I think if you were betting money, you would say that Trump probably wins. If turnout is if it snows Monday and it's supposed to start snowing in the afternoon and evening here, and that really depresses turnout, then if only the real hardcore every 4 years caucus goers come out, that would help Cruz.
All right, he is Reid Epstein, lead writer for the Wall Street Journal's Washington Wire. Reid, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.